Whoa. What could this be? Hello, everyone. Hi, hi. What? We're just fixing some stuff. Ooh. Thank you, Sonic Seeing Screen. I will miss you. My apologies. I'm gonna like adjust my graphics tablet so that I can properly read chat. I should get a second monitor dedicated like for chat and stuff, and having OBS on it. Yeah, pink hair. Or are we not feeling the pink today? We have purple, black, and normal. I'll leave it up to you guys. Hello, T. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Doing well, doing well. I'm gonna see. I can't make the audio higher. They're all good. My vote for purple for my favorite color. Purple. I'm gonna like move my stylus out of the way so I don't knock it. Portal with RTX. I'm playing Portal today. We'll see how well I go. Originally I was gonna do some art, but Portal on a vote out of my friends. So, are we ready? Are we ready, Freddy? Oh, my thing isn't booted. Is this a 5-head day or a smooth brain day? Don't know yet. Don't know yet. We'll see. Yeah. Whoa. I became extreme. What? That is so interesting. Okay. Are we ready? I might need to lower my thing. What is this? Well, well. Hmm? Don't worry about it. Okay. Ooh. Chapter 1. Hi, Athos. Everything's going okay. Ooh, it is dark. Hmm? Oh. Can't turn this off. No music.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer Aided Enrichment Center. We hope your brief detention in the relaxation vault has been a pleasant one. Your specimen has been... Before we start, however,
Is that better?
keep in mind that serious
Okay, how's that?
may occur. For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from... Stand back. The portal will open in 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Oh, is that me? Damn, I'm kinda... Oops. Wait, that's so trippy. Okay, wait. So I'm in here. What? That is so trippy. Hello? It follows you. I got a block. I have a block.
Excellent.
Okay.
Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test.
Can I?
First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Drill
This
will
time.
penalize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the Aperture
Amazing
Science
typo.
weighted storage cube.
Okay. Oh.
Glad you could finally join us.
Ooh. Necklace, hi! Thank you for subscribing. What the heck? How are you doing? You're looking extra fluffy tonight. It's my jacket. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you?
Please place the weighted storage cube on the 1500 megawatt Aperture Science Heavy Duty Super Colliding Super Button.
Oh, I have to quickly BRB.
pretty good.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. We are. Ooh. Okay. I need that block. Put it there. Oh! Huh. It was changing.
Perfect. Please move quickly to the chamber lock, as the effects of prolonged exposure to the button are not part of this test.
Okay. We got this. This isn't too bad. Yeah, it's Portal with RTX. I've never played a Portal game, so it's my first time. Oh. The loading scared me.
You're doing very well.
Am I?
Please be advised that a noticeable taste of blood is not part of any test protocol, but is an unintended side effect of the aperture science material emancipation grip, which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
Oh, okay. Please, that's not. Hey, shush. Oh. Oh. Do I go down here?
Very good.
Oh.
You are now in possession
Oh.
of the Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portal. These interdimensional
Necklace,
gates
thank you
have
for the
proven to be
145
completely
biddies. Thank
safe.
you.
The device, however, has not. Do not touch the operational end of the device. Do not look directly at the operational end of the device. Do not submerge the device in liquid, even partially. Most importantly,
It's a pretty cool game. I haven't played it myself. I have like 20 playthroughs.
Glad you could finally join us.
Insane Maniac Gaming, hello. Welcome. How are you today?
Please proceed to the chamber lock. Mind the gap.
My...
Well done. Remember, the Aperture Science Bring Your Daughter to
Oh,
Work
Unicorn,
Day is
thank
the
you so much for
perfect
gifting
time
us
to
up.
have
What the
her
hell?
tested.
What? Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't see that. What the hell? Oh. Bam. Whoa.
Welcome to Test Chamber 4. You're doing quite well.
Oh, I did it.
Once again,
Go.
excellent work. As
Yeah.
part of our required test
This isn't too
protocol,
bad.
We will not monitor the next test chamber. You will be entirely on your own. Good luck.
Oh, okay. I have to do it on my own now. Let's see how it go. Portals are confusing. Pick it up real quick. I hope I am. Are the graphics better? I don't remember Portal. It's Portal with RTX. So it looks better. Okay. Oh, I need them both weighed down. Okay. So, can I... What is that? Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay.
As part of a required test protocol, our previous statement suggesting that we would not monitor this chamber was an outright fabrication. Good job. As part of a required test protocol, we will stop enhancing the truth in 3, 2...
Ooh. I feel like that was an accent that worked out. What do you mean? I thought about it. It's easy to get brain. Okay. I see how it is. This is some bullshit. I'm smarter than y'all think.
While
Okay.
safety is one of many enrichment center goals, the Aperture Science High Energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber can and has caused permanent disability. Unbelievable. You
Subject name here.
must be the pride of.
Subject hometown.
I have faith in you too. Yay! At least someone does. This isn't too bad so far, but I'm scared for when it does get like, ooh, quick as fuck, boy. I feel like I'm speedrunning so much. This game's so witty. I love it. I'm enjoying it so far.
Warning devices are required on all mobile equipment. However, alarms and flashing hazard lights have been found to agitate
a little off to the side. There we go.
and have therefore been disabled for your safety. Good. Now use the Aperture Science unstationary scaffold to reach the chamber lock.
Okay, so when it gets there, I need to hop on. Got it. I never said I don't have faith, just a person you can use your brain. I'm smarter than you think. I'm big brain. Okay. Not bad, not bad.
Please note that we have added a consequence for failure. Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
Nice. Oh. Okay. So it bounces back. Wait. Okay. But if it bounces here, it would come out here.
Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory
I didn't know it
mark
hurts
on
you.
your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
I lost my brain cells.
Failure. Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record.
I feel like I
followed
need
by
to...
death. Good luck.
Once it goes through here, and then I put a portal. Okay. Okay. I'm getting it. Fuck. Ah! So go here. Then out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, there. No, 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 no! No! Go through. Ugh! God damn it. Ah, mother trucker, dude. Okay. Oh. No, it was off. God damn it. Oh my god, okay. So it starts. Oh. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. Don't say that, Uniquus. You're gonna die. Okay. Okay.
Very impressive. Please note that any appearance of
Don't be
danger
ashamed,
is
so not to
merely a
be-
device to enhance your testing experience.
Hey. Nah.
The Enrichment Center regrets to inform you that this next test is impossible. Make no attempt to solve it.
Okay. So I'm gonna assume that this goes... Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. Oh! Okay.
The Enrichment Center apologizes for this clearly broken test chamber.
Ow. Oh, wait. Should be here.
Once again, the Enrichment Center offers its most sincere apologies on the occasion of this unsolvable test environment. Frankly, this chamber is fantastic. You remain resolute and resourceful in an atmosphere of extreme pessimism.
Uh-huh. Not a cutie. Wait, he has a brain. Hi! It's past bedtime. I do not hear. Good night. Good night, Atlas. Have a good one, okay? R.I.P. Cube, my beloved. Head empty, no brain. What the fuck? This is some bullshit.
Hello again. To reiterate, previous momentum.
Uh-oh.
Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Why can I... Oh. Oh. Hmm. Oh. You got that easy. Hi, Hunter King. Hi, how are you? Oh. Am I too far to the left of the screen? Move myself over just a little bit. Just because I do move around a bit.
For instance, the floor here will kill you. Try to avoid it.
Oh. Button. Oh. Gotta let the cat in. Oh, okay. So. It has the charge. Now I just need... Do I... It has the charge, so do I... Doing good, thanks. Just gotten a haircut and a shave. Ooh, that sounds nice. Also, I'm trying to figure out, so if that has... Okay. Oh wait, am I getting both?
The device has been modified so that it can now manufacture two linked portals at once. As part of an optional test protocol, we are pleased to present an amusing fact. The device is now more valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in
Subject hometown here.
Okay. Okay, that's neat. I like that. Okay. Okay, we got it. I finally set in the place. I didn't know if it was moving or not. I had to check. Looking at my cat. So, hey, baby. I got both. I got both.
Get into here, fling yourself. Fling into space.
Oh. Okay, I see what I need to do. Oh. Now I'm up here. Man, she is Portal himself. I am Portal. Also, I'm gonna shut my door. Hi, Tice. Hi. I just want to swing by and say hi. I appreciate it. Hello. Let me quickly shut my door. I took the opportunity to grab a snack. What? Okay. Oh. Just trying to get back in. What the hell? This cat. It's not getting your stuff. Okay.
Now that you are in control of both portals, this next test could take a very, very long time. If you become lightheaded from thirst, feel free to pass out. An intubation associate will be dispatched to revive you with peptic salve and adrenaline.
Slightly off. What the? That worked that perfect. No. No, I moved it Did I fuck this up? Ugh. You're the best portaler. Don't say that. Okay. So I need dice for that. Well, dice? It looks like dice. I hope I can freak this up. Okay, I think I did.
As part of a previously mentioned required test protocol, we can no longer lie to you. When the testing is over, you will be missed.
I thought I fucked it up. I'm so sorry that you guys can see me cheer.
All subjects intending to handle high-energy gamma-leaking portal technology must be informed that they may be informed of applicable regulatory compliance issues. No further compliance information is required or will be provided, and you are an excellent test subject.
Oh, it's stairs now. If I was Portal, I would open a portal into a realm of monsters, demons, and watch them destroy the world. Whoa. Well, hey. Is that it? No. I went too far forward. I just do that. Easy. No, no F's in the chat. I see. I really saw myself die. I'm not good at parkour. Platforming me? Never. Mother trucker, dude. Okay. Okay. Let's try it again. Motherfucker. Hmm. No, wait, actually, I should double check that it continuously goes through there. Hmm.
Very, very good. A complimentary victory lift has been activated in the main chamber.
I did it. 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 Whoa. I'm so smart. Hmm.
The Enrichment Center is committed to the well-being of all participants. Cake and brief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test. Thank you for helping us help you help us all.
Okay. But wait, no, okay. Okay, I know what I need. Hmm. Okay. Man. Hmm. Uh-oh. Okay. But as soon as I walk through here, it destroys them both, so... Hmm. Blah. My God. Hmm. They both destroy when they get to here, though. Hmm. Fuck. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I did it. I did it. Smart. I forget they're bouncy. Hmm. Close, close. I would have fixed your destruction. Oh? But this lab makes amazing cake. I mean, they made a freaking portal gun. Imagine the artificial flavors they can make. Hmm. What? Mm. I'm so close. Uh-oh, the game's like chugging. Hmm. Oh, well, that wasn't gonna work. I missed. Hmm. Well, it's still chugging. Oh. What if I... Okay. Build momentum. I need that out there, so... Okay, yeah. So that's building momentum. Ooh. Then how am I meant to get the thing? Okay. I'm gonna quickly check my settings. Yeah, this is running super funky. I need that little bit more momentum. It could just be this map. Then I can't shoot anything through there. Hmm. I wish I could, like, run. Hmm. My brain cells aren't brain celling. Else, why else would they put that in the ceiling? Oh. There's like no way. Hmm. Unless. Hmm. It should not be this hard. Oh, why else would there be like an exit here though? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I think as I fall, I'm meant to add a new one. Yeah, RTX be like, damn it, I missed it. It is making it hard. It's like, it's disorientating with it moving like this. Fuck. Woo! Ah, I thought I made it through. Motherfucker. No! Dime por qué. So close. Okay, okay. I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. Yow! Ah! I'm gonna die. Oh, yeah. Okay. keep getting close, but I lose momentum because I keep hitting the side. Fuck. Okay. Yes! Finally! Oh, you asshole. This is chugging. Okay, hang on. Let me save the game. Hi, Tiny Fox Pup. Hi, how are you? I'm doing well, you? I'm okay. Much better. Okay. I can't send anything down there, so... Hmm. Missed. Okay, so I need it in this one. Maybe not. Where's it going? Hmm. Now that's too high. Okay. So it goes boing, boing, boing. And then it goes haywire here. So it might need to go boing, boing, and then I add another portal before it comes here. I missed. What the fuck? Hey! I'm struggling. Shut up. Okay. Boing, boing, fuck my life. I put the wrong one. Boing, boing. It hits here. Okay. Let's go again. Boing, boing. Wrong portal. There we go. Finally. Now I need to get out of here. Oh, oh, oh. Wrong portal. Bam, bam. Okay. Losing momentum.
Da, da, da.
Okay. There we go. Oh, I've got a bad feeling. No. Hmm. I did it. Okay. Hmm? Okay. Okay, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out. Andiamo. No! Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay.
Did you know you can donate one or all of your vital organs to the Aperture Science Self-Esteem Fund for Girls? It's true.
What? What? Why isn't it doing the thingy? Oh, I already did it. Oh.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the appropriate chamber for this testing sequence is currently unavailable. It has been
What?
replaced with a live fire course designed for military androids. The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience and wishes you the best of luck.
What? Oh. I can push you out of the way.
Hello.
Asshole.
Sentry mode activated. Deploying. Are you still there?
Shut up.
Good night. Who's there? Searching. Target lost. Are you still there? Goodbye. Activated. Target lost. Resting. Hello. Who's there? Are you still there? Nap time. Searching. Deploying. Searching. Good night.
Oh.
Hello.
I can?
Hello. Are you still there?
How do you... You know what? I'm gonna leave it. Oh.
Searching.
Oh no. The cake is a lie, the cake is a lie, the cake is a lie. Oh no. Am I meant to be here? Okay. There's a door. Hmm. Can I go in there?
Activated. Hello. Are you still there? Target lost.
Just push them from behind? How do you do that?
I need you. Target lost. Deploying. Are you still there? I don't need you.
Hmm.
There you go. Will you come over here?
Oh, I killed it.
Are you still there? Target lost. Critical error. Target lost. Are you still there? Activate. Target lost. Die. Put me down. Are you still there? Rest. Searching. Are you still there? Target lost. Searching. Target lost. Goodbye. Searching. Firing. Are you still there? No hard feelings. Deploying. Searching. Help. Hello. Are you still there? Are you? Target. Shutting down. Hibernating. Searching. Are you still there? Target out. Sleep mode activated. Hey, sorry, malfunction. Searching.
Okay.
System shutting down.
What? Another handprint. Okay. Oh.
There you are. Searching. Hey, it's me! Target lost. Searching.
I made a win. Would you come target lost? Are you still there? Target lost. Searching. Mother trucker, dude.
Who's there? Searching. Searching. Is anyone there? There you are. Are you still there? Hibernating. Sentry mode activated. Hello. Searching. Target lost. Goodbye. Are you still there? Searching. Target lost. Searching. Are you still there? Resting. Good night. Activated. Activated. Is anyone there? Target lost. Goodbye. Would you come over? Malfunction. Search critical error.
Okay.
Hibernating. Sentry mode activated. Hello? Are you still there? Searching. Searching. Good night. Are you still there? Searching. Deploying. Target lost. Are you still there? I don't blame you. Hello. Target lost.
Okay.
There you are.
No, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? Get out of my way.
Sentry activated. Wow. No hard feelings.
Aw, no hard feelings. Hey, get out of my way.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will be sent at the first sign of defiance.
What? Say that again, please. I don't... Listen. Listen.
The vital apparatus vent will
Uh-oh.
deliver a weighted companion cube in 3, 2,
Companion?
1.
It's got a heart on it!
Companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
Eee. I want that hurt. Right, wait. No. Hey, companion cube. Oh shit. Companion cube. No?
The symptoms most commonly produced by enrichment center testing are superstition, perceiving inanimate objects as alive, and hallucinations. The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never threaten to stab you and, in fact, cannot speak.
Okay. Android hell? I don't want to go to Android hell. Oh. Oh, oh. Okay. What the fuck? Companion cube, you're meant to protect me.
The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak. In the event that the weighted companion cube does speak, the enrichment center urges you to disregard its advice.
What? Can I have 2 companion cubes? Is it not doing more? It must be... Okay. Where is that? Oh, shit. I want to get behind here. Wait, I want to get behind. Ooh. Oh, what the fuck? They all have cubes on their face. Girls have aperture science. Why are there so many cubes? Help? What? Stop. What? What? Not in cruelty, not in wrath. The Reaper cake. Wait. The Reaper cake today. An angel visited. Oh, the Reaper came today. Cake. The Reaper came today. An angel visited this gray path and took the cube away. Why? What? She's watching you? Well, yeah. I don't... That's interesting. Okay. Really interesting. I don't know what's happening, but there isn't something fucked up with the cube, is there? She said to take it with me. What if I left it behind? I'm like smacking it on everything. What? I left my cute buddy behind.
You did it. The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. Please escort your companion cube to the Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator.
No. No, I don't wanna... No. It's coming with me. It's coming with me. I have to do it, don't I? I have to burn it, don't I?
Rest assured that an independent panel of ethicists has absolved the Enrichment Center, Aperture Science employees, and all test You euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
It gave me an achievement for that. What the fuck? Wait, what? Huh? Okay, well, I guess I'm doing this now. I've committed to it. This is what I get. Oh no. I can't believe this.
The experiment is nearing its conclusion. The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
What? And then there will be cake? Hey, yo, what kind of cake though?
The experiment is nearing its conclusion. The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Okay, let's try that again.
The experiment is nearing its conclusion. The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
What's this way though? I'm going to explore. Where is this gonna take me? Oh, door. Can't go through. Can I find like a doorknob? She's watching you. Can I? What is this? I can't do any kind of portals in here. Interesting. What? No. There we go. It misses it.
face.
Okay. Okay, in there. Is there like a button or something? Hmm. Hmm. Whoa. Flipping me upside down. Oh, oh, I did it! I'm stuck! God damn it. Hmm. Wrong portal. Oh my god. Then I get stuck in the portal. Oh my god. That is not enough time. What am I meant to do, man? Do I need my buddy down there? Hmm. What the? Okay, 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 okay. That's not enough time. I have to like hit it before I... Okay. Okay, was there like a cube or something I was meant to bring with me? Oh. What would be down here? I didn't do that. I didn't, nope. It's fine. Okay. So for some reason you can go down there. I'm like getting confused because I know I have to press that button. But like... See what I mean? I'm trying to see... Can I stand on it? Okay. Oh! Almost. Ugh. Dang it, wrong one. Okay. Ah, so close. Ugh. Damn it. Come on, Naja. I should... It makes me slide off. No. Okay. Then I need to... So now I can reach it, but I need... Okay. 1, 2, 3, and done. Can I help, please? I like to figure out on my own. If I need help, I'll ask, but I appreciate the offer, thank you. Unless do I get it bouncing along all of these until it's ready, I guess? All I know is I need it to come through here. Handled the puzzles well so far. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think I'm just getting a little frustrated because like that is nowhere near enough time. I know it can be done. Then why would they have to be right here? This is pain. Absolute pain. Okay, I don't want to fall off, man. Hi, Diggle. Hi. How are you? May thinks I should grab a late lunch and figure out. Just have a sit and ponder. Yeah. We'll do a quick break. I want to refresh my mind. Okay? Dusty, we're about to take a break because I'm really stumped on this one. Like, I know what I need to do, but it's just the order. So I need this all to go into here, but this button opens it and it only stays open for like 3 counts. So the way I had been doing it was go through, click, and then I need the portals to like open it. But because that's what's gonna make this move for me. That way I can get down here and do that. Mind breaking puzzle, I see, yeah. Oh, you can see me running past. Do it. See what I mean? It's not enough time, and I have a bad feeling that maybe I had a block I was meant to bring with me. I didn't see one. And you can also go down here for some reason, but I don't know why. You'll need to. Alright. We're gonna go on a quick break. I'm gonna grab some lunch, and then I'll be back, okay?
fly, you rely on what's inside of you, don't you? Uh-huh. We fly with our spirit. Trusting your spirit, yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Bum, 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 bum. Thanks for being so patient. I appreciate it. I have some food, have a drink, ready to go. I hope in that meantime you guys also got something to eat, had something to drink, went to the bathroom, did everything you need to. Remember self-care. I need a break, you guys will need a break, okay? Also, welcome. Nice to see you. If I may ask, how is the best way for me to pronounce your name? Is it Jiven Ma? Or Jiven? Okay, back to the insanity that is this. Okay. No! Okay, I think I figured it out. I think I know what I need to do. I think, based off of what I did just then, I think I need the orb to come through, bounce, and like come back, bounce here while I go here and get the button going. Oh, it's in the wrong place. Okay, I think that's what I need to do. Okay. Did I get it? Oh! I did it. You speedrun Portal? Holy moly. This is my first time playing. Just driving me more. Wait, but don't add more. Okay, so diving. Hello. You know, this is my first time. While I was like getting my lunch ready and stuff, I really stepped back for a second. I was like, okay, I'm upset about the time limit. The time limit is what's really like making it whoa, okay. Oh, is that what that's for? Yeah, I got a feeling that's what that's for. Okay, wait, you know how you pronounce the I in Finn? Oh, Jin. Like Jiven. Or that? You did it. The professional Portal speedruns are insane. Listen, Rennie, I just did that part and I'm proud of myself for that. I don't want to see speedrun because it's gonna make me feel like an idiot. Okay. I think maybe, I don't know. So that's gonna make that go, and it wants me to go up here. But I need to like full a great bit for it to be. So how am I meant to do this? Okay, I think I know. So, I need to go from here, through there, down, but I need a portal here, so how am I gonna do that? So, whatever portal I put here... Okay. Because I need the portal... Okay. I need the portal here. I just need momentum, because going through here and there, like, I'm not going to have enough momentum to go forward. So I'm thinking maybe I need to go... Backseating, not at the moment. If I need help, I'll ask, but not at the moment, please. Now professional speedruns are mostly just out of bounds. Not because the speedruns involve knowledge of the Valve game engine and more clipping. Different set level knowledge than just following. True. I think I'm also gonna steal it. I've got pizza for lunch, so I'm close. Okay. I'm just thinking, because why else would they have that platform down there? So I'm gonna need to... Okay. Why do you think the button's there? To make my life difficult. It goes for 13 clicks. See, not enough momentum. Fuck! I put it in the wrong place. Okay. Oh wait, what? Oh no, wait. No. I think I know what I'm doing. No! Yeah, I was too late with the time, What? Bingo. There we go. Had a feeling. Now I need you because we're gonna have come at me. Okay, I didn't know about that part. That's not gonna shoot now. So I need, that's gonna give me a block. I have to get back through that, don't I? Because there's a button in there. Oh, you can? Okay, I don't trust my platforming skills. Well, do I need to, instead of going back in there, is it, I gotta go down there. I'll double check. Yeah, it left me. It just fucking floated away. What kind of bullshit? Okay. I saved the block at least. The cube is safe. No. Oh, you asshole. I have to do that again. I'm eating pizza, sorry. Okay. I have to do this part again. This is bullshit. I thought maybe it would have left my thing saved. Oh. It is what it is. No, it's not Gmod. It's just Portal. It's Portal with RTX, actually. Okay, you done? Get in! Okay. Alright. Not bad. Bad idea. Uh-oh. Oh! Okay. Disorientating. All right. Do I need a... Okay. I think I need it to launch me. Fuck. Okay, okay. I think I know what I need to do. What's up? Can you shoot at the ground as you're falling so you keep momentum going instead of how something is missing? Yeah. I think so. I believe I need to go down, then I'll go up. I don't have enough time for it. What? What? It does look sick with RTX. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah. I'm realizing. Okay. So we're using the blue portal. Ugh. Fuck. All right. I have to redo it because I need momentum the whole time. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, blue portal there, so then I'll have to shoot the orange portal and then the blue portal. Alright. Orange. Where am I looking? Fuck. Fuck, missed. Okay, it's fine. I still have momentum. Okay. Oh, it's just disorientating. Orange. Okay. Blue is next. Alright. I know where I need to shoot.
Well done. Be advised that the next test requires exposure to uninsulated electrical parts that may be dangerous under certain conditions. For more information, please attend an Enrichment Center Electrical Safety Seminar.
Okay. Okay. I'm understanding a little bit better now. Why is it dark? Oh shit. You did it. I did it.
Welcome to the final test. When you are done, You will
Final
drop
one?
the device in the Equipment Recovery Annex. Enrichment Center regulations require both hands to be empty before any... Welcome to the final test. When you are done, you will drop the device in the Equipment Recovery Annex. Enrichment Center regulations require both hands to be empty before any cake...
Okay. Mm, mm. Here we go. Don't leave. What? Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. It should come back, right?
Make no further attempt to leave the testing area. Assume the party escort submission position or you will miss the party.
Bro, now I'm in the right shoe when the first words I hear are, okay, I know what to do before we dead. Listen. I'm a genius. What can I say?
Stop it.
I need to launch myself up there.
We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy.
Okay.
We are throwing up our lead in What are you doing? Stop it.
Okay. I know.
We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate will arrive shortly to collect you for
I'm
your
such a
party.
genius. Rennie, don't say anything.
Stop it. We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder you. We are very, very happy for your success. We are throwing a party in honor of your tremendous success. Place the device on the ground.
Oh, fuck. Lost my
then lie
momentum.
on your stomach with your arms at your sides. A party associate
Okay.
will arrive shortly to collect you for your party.
That's not what I wanted.
Make no
Okay,
further
let me try that
attempts to
again.
leave the testing area.
Okay, let me try that one more time. Let me try that one more time. I know what I need to do.
Stop it.
Oop.
We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended we were going to murder
Okay.
you.
There we
are
go.
Very, very happy for your
I just
success.
needed to orientate myself
We
again.
are throwing a party in honor
Oh,
of your
oh,
tremendous
oh no.
success.
Oh no.
Place the device on the ground, then lie on your stomach with your arms at your sides.
Close the door.
A party associate will arrive shortly
First try.
to collect you for your party.
I don't
Make
fucking
no
trust
further
you in your
attempt
party.
To leave the testing area. Assume the party escort submission position, or you will miss the party.
Why can't I go? What? Am I stuck? What? I mean, I was right there. That's stupid. Okay.
Hello? Where are you? I know you're there. I can feel you here.
No, you don't. That door's locked. Okay. No. Alright. Alright. Oh! Okay. This way. Hello! Hello, Vankin. Oh, I'm so scared. You know, sir, your mommy a lot of salt? Who's salt? You signed up for it? Me? Who? Huh? What? What? Damn! Damn! I'm 2 years old. I have 5 Lamborghini inside. Why? What? You're talented and funny, and I wouldn't go that far. Nice to meet you too. What? Okay. Wait, was this one of the rooms I was in? They were watching me. Okay. They were watching. Okay. Case study. Genetic life form and disk operating system. Dollar and cents? Can you wish my friend... Can this dick fit in your mouth? Sorry. Okay. Go up. Welcome. Bacon beating. Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, this is my favorite part of the game. Ooh, this is my first time like playing any part of the game. Okay, I need to get over there. I can't send anything down there. Bingo bullseye, right on the money. Hey. She gets a follow. We like her. She's fine. I'm not a vampire. I'm a dragon. Wait. Let me... Dragging these nuts across your chin. Sorry. Oh, we do not condone that here. Ugh. The cake is a lie. The cake is a lie. Okay, where am I going? Will I get hurt? Oh. Oh. Where am I going?
Okay, the test is over now. You win. Go back to the recovery annex for your cake. It was a fun test, and we're all impressed at how much you won. The test is over. Come back.
I'm attracted to personality. She's a whole ass vibe. Hey, I'm glad to know my vibe. Shit, I need something to weigh this down. Is there like a cube somewhere? I can't pick those up. Wait a minute.
Somebody cut the cake. I told them to wait for you, but they cut it anyway. There is still some left if you hurry back.
Honestly, the voice actress for GLaDOS is like... I never played Portal. My first time playing right now, right? I remember hearing the voice of GLaDOS for so long and thinking, that is so cool. Like the effect and everything. Shit, man, we're a moment ago. Why can I put a portal here and here? That is the question. Can't I just walk through? What? What do I have to put like a portal? I'm so confused. You down? Let me join you sometime. Go ahead, honestly. I'm actually incredibly honored you would ask that. It always blows me away when people draw me on my model. I do want to quickly preface. I don't have my my normal hair color on. This is my normal hair color. But we're feeling the purple today, so we're vibing with it. Any limits? Not really. I would say I would have to think about it, honestly. Fan art is the height of flattery for content creators, in my opinion. Honestly, like, you spent time to do something for me. Like, holy shit. You can't get time back like that. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. I really can't just walk through. I got it. See, when she looks white. Nothing bigoted would be my limit. My Twitter is the same as my name on here. Just look at mine, DM me with whatever you want. Oh, but whoa. Honestly, I'd say go wild. Just keep it. Oh shit! Sorry. Bruh, I'm on the adventure of a lifetime. Oh, they're like steps. Okay, gotcha. I get to choose. I'm really bad at choosing. I'm like the most indecisive bitch I know. Okay, this one's cooler. Okay. I think I know what I need to do. Okay. Can't put a portal here. Oh no, I used the wrong one. Okay, hang on. Yeah, walk this way. It looks like a drop there, though. Anytime to me whenever. I appreciate it. Okay, I can't put anything there. Oh, loading. DM me too as in dragon.
You're not even going the right way. Where do you think you're going? Because I don't think you're going where you think you're going.
Don't worry about it, GLaDOS. Okay, I was too busy looking around.
You're not even going the right way. Where do you think you're going? Because I don't think you're going where you think.
Oh, shit. I broke it. did put an orange one. Squish. Hello, Sir Brown. My God. Okay.
Pretended we were going to murder you. That was great. Is anyone there?
Ah, crap. Okay. Give me a better gift. Seems time for me. Can't wait to see more of your content. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Get that rest, okay? What's that? What's that, Ren?
Remember when the platform was sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye? You were like, no. And then I was all, we pretended we were going to murder you. That was great.
The pistons? What's a piston?
Is anyone there?
I missed the portal. I forgot I have lunch here.
Remember when the
It's
platform
cold
was
now.
sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye? And you were like, no word. And then I was all, we pretended we were going to murder you. That was great. Is anyone there?
Damn it. What?
Didn't we have some fun, though? Remember when the platform was sliding into the fire pit and I said goodbye? And you were like, no word. And then I was all, we pretended we were going to murder you. That was great. Is anyone there?
Hmm. Okay, I need to go up. Hmm. Ah, missed. Hmm. Oh, I don't have to go back down? Hmm. brain go. I am looking at white surfaces. Oh. Oh shit, no. Close. Missed it. Maybe I need to move it. Hmm. What? Except the floor. Okay, let me get back up there again. I am looking at what is a white surface. That's white. I didn't see any others there. Hmm. Does it need to be higher? What the fuck? Oh no.
You really shouldn't be here. This isn't safe for you. It's not too late for you to turn back. I'm not angry. You really shouldn't be here. This isn't safe for you. It's not too late for you to turn back. I'm not angry. Just go back to the testing area.
Uh-oh. Hmm. What do you mean? What do you mean I hate you? Oh, so I see it. I see. Eddie. What? 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 Ready? Mm. Mama. Okay. get to? Because these are all boarded and I apparently can't walk through them. No. There's like a door there. Wait a minute. Ah, get closer.
Go back to the testing area.
Okay. Where am I supposed to go? Hmm? Oh. No. I'm so done. There we go. Am I supposed to be inside of this? No.
You should have turned left before. It's funny, actually, when you think about it. Someday we'll remember this and laugh, and laugh, and laugh. Oh. Well, you may as well come on back.
Will I make it is the question. Hey! You're not dumb, game hard. Throw out one to head around at first. You're learning. I am learning. Thank you. Mm. Help. Got a bad feeling. I. Oh?
Uh-oh. Critical error. Deploying. Target, please put me down. Self-hit error. I don't hate you. Sentry mode activated. Put me down. Target, please put put me down? Are you still
Oh my
there?
god, die.
Hey. Yeah.
Hmm? Hmm. That's the only one with like a claw. Can it like pick me up and take me away? Hmm. Okay. Where is that? What am I meant to do? Hmm. Oh? Was it meant to take me?
You're not a good person. You know that, right? Good people don't end up here. Can you hear me?
Who are you?
Okay, okay.
Hurt feelings.
Over here? Cake is the lie, cake is the lie. Hmm.
This is your fault. It didn't have to be like this. I'm not kidding now. Turn back or I will kill you. I'm going to kill you. And all the cake is gone. You don't even care, do you? This is your last chance.
Whoa. I thought maybe I could blow it up, but apparently I needed it. I want to send to you an amazing photo music video that tells you a story about Ratman's backstory and how he helped Chell through this. Ooh. Don't know who that is. What? Wait a minute. I didn't know I could put a portal there. Oh. How do I... Hmm? How am I meant to... I can't grab one of those. Solo chair. Ah! No! I'm trying to angle it. No! Ah, so close, so close. I don't know how... Maybe... Hmm. This is making me feel this stupid. Water? Hmm? Hmm? Ew. Oh, 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 oh. That was not big brain. Let's try it again. With some pizza.
Uh-oh. Target lost. Help. Target lost. Help. Uh-oh. Are you still there? Who are you? Searching. Who's there? Are you still there? Please put me down. Malfunction.
Okay.
I don't blame. Target lost. Hey. It's error.
Woo!
No hard feelings.
Hmm.
Put me down. Searching.
Damn. Well. Well. Alright. So it goes orange. Flap. Okay. Fuck. Hmm. Okay.
Ew.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. What? Alright, I'm not getting enough height. I think I'm doing it wrong. What?
The tea party's been raided.
Whoa, Andrew, hi! Thanks so much for the raid. What the heck? Hello, everyone. I just realized I'm too tall. Hi, I'm Saratia.
Welcome, welcome.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Well, how do I? Is that an L or an I? It's either Ione, Bonnie, or Lonely Bunny. Great. Hello, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys? I don't think my mods are currently available. It's an L. It's hard to tell if it's a uppercase I or a lowercase L. I don't think my mods are currently present, so I'll do it myself. How was stream? What'd you do?
Jesus, not an Oni. Not a Jen.
Oh.
Okay, not there.
Oh my goodness. Okay. How is everybody? Welcome, welcome. To briefly introduce myself, I'm Saratia Muerte. This is my first time playing... playing Portal, so it's been a lot of frustrating moments for me. Some big brain moments, some silly moments, but we'll see how it goes, okay? You're playing Honkai Star... Whoa, for 11 hours? 11 hours? I really gotta give you credit. You have such a fucking what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? It's an addiction. I've been curious to see how Honkai plays, if I'm quite honest. But I haven't really gotten into it yet. You've got a total 20 hours already? Okay. not very good at puzzles. Please bear with me. Mannaggia la miseria. He broke up with Genshin for a new first waifu. Oh my god. It's a fun game if you like turn-based games like Final Fantasy. You might like it. I actually just started playing Final Fantasy 14 for the first time. So that's been pretty fun. I think I'm like level 16 at the moment. Eh? Cosa? Dimmi perché? The issue is that I lose my momentum because I need to land up there and I'm not. Maybe I had it right. Maybe I need to go from up there. What? Oh my god. I always tell people it's like Genshin, Final Fantasy had a baby. Ooh, really? You need a rest. Hacking back. Yeah, go get that rest. Holy moly. Take that break. You deserve it. 11 hours. We live for 11 hours? Oh my god. Take a break. Thank you so much for leaving your audience with me, though. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope I can give them a really fun time. So, hi, everybody. Yeah, okay. I need to land up there. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, it's the closest I get. I got a feeling maybe I am doing it wrong. Anyways, bye-bye and good luck. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the raid. And I hope you have a very good night. Do be sure to take care of yourself, okay? I'm going to be internally screaming at the hell that is Portal for me right now. But we shall see how we do. I got a feeling, because I need momentum to really, okay, yeah, okay. Oh! Now I'm up here. Yes, what happens if I just fall from here? Not enough momentum. I feel like momentum is going to be my biggest issue with this game so far. I'm just not building up enough of it. So I know, okay, so here's the plan, I need to fall from here and like launch up here and to proceed to launch. I think I might be doing it backwards though. Let me... I don't want to be there. I want to take a quick look from the side here. So I need to essentially launch that way. So that would mean going here, launching up, and then a portal to launch me up that way. How would that work though? Because if this launches me up, and then I come back down, I probably need to land downwards, and the portal will launch me back. Me feels, because if I'm falling from here, launch, and then I need to ultimately be launched out of here. So I think maybe I need to either fall from up here and then have a portal up there that will launch me up. Interesting, interesting. Okay. We do have some methods. Oh. Okay. Shut out the wrong portal. Qué cosa. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Okay. I need a... Okay. Oh! Whee! I really hope I'm not missing anything. That's gonna be my biggest issue. Qué cosa. Okay, I need it to go here. Okay. Okay. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. Nah. So it's not the blue one I need. It's orange still. Close, 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 close. Not low enough. Issue is that I need it up there, so... Ooh. Okay. Okay. Let's figure it out. Ooh. Bingo, bullseye, right on the money. There we go. Hey, we figured it out. Now I'm gonna call that some grade A bullshit.
Activated. Are you still there? Are you still there?
I pressed the wrong button. Que cosa?
Hello, you guys. Are you still there?
Oh. Hey, hey.
Searching. Uh-oh.
Okay. I must go up, but how? How do I make it? Ah! Oh yeah. Que cosa? How do I make it up? I'm gonna move that on my way, kind of. Okay, what am I meant to do? It's definitely getting harder. I can say that for sure. I would not say that I have the biggest brains. Oh my god. I have to get momentum again, don't I? Okay, I'm gonna try something. Whew. Bellissimo. What the fuck? I didn't want to launch myself. I feel like something's gonna happen. I was really concerned that like the bridge was gonna drop or something. Oh? Hello, GLaDOS. Nice to see you.
Well, you found me. Congratulations.
I did.
Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle for that, and we'll just call it a day. I guess we both know that isn't going to happen. You chose this path. Now I have a surprise for you. Deploying surprise in 5,
Oh.
4...
Oh no.
Time out for a second. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do you see that thing that fell out of me? What is that? It's not the surprise. I've never seen it before.
Hello.
Never mind. It's a mystery I'll solve later. By myself. Because you'll be dead. Where are you taking that thing? I wouldn't bother with that thing. My guess is that touching it will just make your life even worse somehow.
No, I've got it. It's mine now. It's mine.
I don't want to tell you your business, but if it were me, I'd leave that thing alone. Do you think I'm trying to trick you with reverse psychology? I mean, seriously now. Okay, fine. Do touch it. Pick it up and just stuff it back into me.
No.
Let's be honest. Neither one of us knows what that thing does. Just put it in the corner, and I'll deal with it later. That thing is probably some kind of raw sewage container. Go ahead and rub your face all over it. Maybe you should marry that thing since you love it so much. Kidding me. Did you just stuff that aperture science thing, we don't know what it does, into an aperture science emergency intelligence incinerator? That has got to be the dumbest thing that... Whoa.
Ooh. Ooh.
Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin. So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters.
Oh shit.
That core
Oh,
has
shit.
some ancillary responsibilities. I can't shut off the turret defenses. Oh well. If you want my advice, you should just lie down in front of a rocket. Trust me, it'll be a lot less painful than a neurotoxin. All right, keep doing whatever it is you think you're doing. Giving you and giving you good advice aren't mutually exclusive. The rocket really is the way to go. That thing you burned up isn't important to me. It's the fluid catalytic cracking unit. Ignitions for orphans.
Alright,
Nice
alright.
job breaking it, hero. It's murder. What did I ever do to you? The difference between us is that I can feel pain. You don't even care, do you?
What is that? What's that? What's that?
Okay. This is big. Okay. I feel like I need to incinerate every single piece of her body.
Did you hear me? I said you don't care. Are you listening?
Oh shit, fuck.
That's it. I'm done reasoning with you. Starting now, there's going to be a lot less conversation and a lot... You think you're doing some damage?
Oh my god, it's great.
2 plus 2 is...
In base 4, I'm fine. I let you survive this long because I was curious about your behavior.
It's not tall enough.
Well, you've managed to destroy that part of me. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to now, I can't get the neurotoxin into your head any faster. I'd just like to point out that you were given every opportunity to succeed. There was even going to be a party for you. A big party that all your friends were invited to. I invited your best friend and companion, Keep. Of course. Other friends couldn't come either because
Where's it
you
going?
don't have any other friends because
What?
of how unlikable you are.
No fucking way. How am I meant to get that?
find no one. A bitter, unlikable loner whose passing shall not be mourned. Shall not be mourned. That's exactly what it says. Very formal. Very official. It also says you were adopted. So that's funny too.
Packaged chocolate cake mix. 1 can prepared coconut.
Speaking of curiosity, you're curious about what
Whoa,
happens
okay,
after
we
you
got
die,
this, we got
right?
this, we got this.
Guess what? I know. You're going to find out firsthand before I finish explaining it though, so I won't bother. Here's a hint. You're gonna want to pack as much living as you can into the next couple of minutes. Neurotoxin. So deadly. Joking. When I said deadly neurotoxin, the deadly was in massive sarcasm quote. I could take a bath in this stuff, put it on cereal, rub it right into my eyes. Honestly, it's not deadly at all. You, on the other hand, are going to find its deadliness a lot less fun.
Come on, come on, come on.
Cake when I'm gone. Look, you're wasting your time.
Missing her.
And believe me, you don't have a whole lot left to waste. What's your point anyway? Survival. Well then, the last thing you want to do is hurt me. I have your brain scanned and permanently backed up in case something terrible happens to you. Which is just about to. That's you. That's how dumb you sound. You've been wrong about every single thing you've ever done, including this thing. You're not smart. You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You're not even a full-time employee. Where did your life go so wrong? Are you trying to escape?
How do I grab it?
Things have changed.
Okay, wait, hang on. I got it.
What's going on out there will make you wish you were back in here. I have an infinite capacity for knowledge, and even I'm not sure what's going on outside. All I know is I'm the only thing standing between us.
I meant to grab it.
Well, I was. Unless you want to plan for building some supercomputer parts in a big hurry.
Oh, this one's feral.
Good job on that, by the way. Sarcasm, so your self-test complete. Stop squirming and die like an adult, or I'm going to delete your backup. Stop! Okay, enough. I deleted it. No matter what happens now, you're dead.
I don't know, buddy. I'm sorry, but like,
The part of you that could have survived indefinitely.
goodbye.
I just struck you from top.
Ooh.
Mathematical error.
A mathematical error I'm about to correct.
That to you wouldn't have this important to me. It's the furry catcher's cracking. It makes you perform things. Not sound right, yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, whoa. I should have stayed in that little room. Oh no. Am I gonna die? Oh, fuck boy, it's bright as fuck. What the hell? Oh. Aperture. Aperture. However you want to pronounce it.
Thank you for assuming the potty air submission position.
What? Huh? Who's got me? Oh no. What? What? Oh, it's cake. What? Wait, whoa. What's happening? We did it! Holy shit, bro! We did it, y'all. And we got the cake! Oh, that is so silly. I love that. I actually didn't think we would finish the game today. I thought I was gonna have to do two parts to this. That's awesome. You know what? I'm glad we finished it. And we actually finished it in great timing because I do actually have to wrap up now. A short game? It is short. It was shorter than I thought. I had people mention that like, oh, maybe you could finish it within like 2 streams. But like, damn. Hi, Kemi. Hi. Congrats. Thank you. I'm very happy with how the game played. And like this being my first time playing Portal. Damn. Oh, the camera's turning. Companion cube. We're not dead. Oh, it's still turning. Companion cube. You're not dead. It was even more of a trip. I love them both a ton. I feel like we should definitely play Portal 2 at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But like, goddamn. This was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed that. I can officially mark Portal off the list of games I have yet to play. Waiting for Portal 3. My goodness. I have to get through Portal 1 and 2 first. Oh wait, well, I have to finish Portal 2 now. I finished Portal 1. We did do that. We did do that. Ayo. That is rad as fuck. I'm so curious about that room that we discovered with like the people, but their faces were covered with companion buddies. Oh, the camera's moving. You're gonna be a Portal fanatic like the rest of us, methinks. It was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. Goodness gracious, that was a lot of fun. I'm actually really happy that we were able to finish it. I didn't think we would, but here we are. Amazing. Okay. On that note, and in perfect timing, I do need to wrap up here. I wasn't expecting to finish the entirety of the game today, but yeah, that's the end of the streaming week. So I'll be seeing you guys next week. If anything, I'm gonna find somebody to raid real quick, and then we're gonna part ways. But I'll see you guys next week. Well, next week for me, it'll be your Sunday. So for those of you who don't know, I stream Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes. that is PST-EST, all that. If you're an Australian like me, those days are instead Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, I'm gonna find somebody to raid real quick and we'll have some parting words. This has been such a good game. Let's see, who do I want to raid? Let's raid somebody new today. Ooh, they've got a cute model. We're gonna be raiding, I believe it's pronounced this way, Hatsuki Tenshi. They've got a really cute model. They are playing Valorant right now. First of all, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I had so much fun. I honestly, I can't wait to do something like this again. There is Portal 2. I want to play the main story for Portal 2, and then I know exactly who I'm dragging on with me to play the co-op stuff, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Until next week, I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing weekend, and yeah, bye guys. I really appreciate you spending time with me. Okay, bye bye. Bye-bye.